Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew, also known as Tyrion King, and I'm here with.
Joshua, and today we are continuing our coverage on One Piece finally. And today we are covering the Syrup Village arc, which covers chapters 22 to 41 and episodes 9 to 18. So, getting into it, what were your thoughts on this arc as a whole?
I don't know. It felt kind of slow and draggy in a lot of parts. Like once he got to the fighting, it went by real quick, but the setup took a while. It was all right. It wasn't my favorite
Yeah,
arc, but it wasn't the worst thing I've seen.
yeah, no, yeah, I don't know if it was like, because I read the manga and it went by like fairly fast for me, but it's I don't know the anime pacing it's weird. Like that first half is I don't know what they did with it, but just like the pacing for it seems like very slow
Yeah,
comparatively to like I think earlier arcs. And I don't know if like it's just like the anime like itself that contributes to this arc's kind of poor reputation among One Piece arcs from the One Piece fans. And that could very well be the case, but like yeah, it's definitely something that like I'm like I wonder if this like kind of feeds into it. Huh.
potentially. I don't know.
Yeah. Um Regardless, so getting into it, we have our crew of Luffy, Zoro, and Nami, like basically just show up on this island, um, and so so a bit of a difference here, just to go over this pretty quick, because do you have a lot to talk about? What is it? What was his name? Shoot, I'm totally blanking on his name. The treasure chest guy from the first from the gosh, I can't believe Gaimon. That's who it was.
Oh, from that one
Um,
shot at the end?
yeah, because in the manga, it's what technically happens before this entire arc starts.
Really?
Um,
Interesting.
yeah. So just kind of to like cover that, like they meet like Gaimon on this island of strange animals, like prior to showing up to like Syrup Village and whatnot, and basically like Gaimon's been stuck on the island and like he's been protecting these treasure chests all these years, but he learns that it's empty, and it's like basically like this thing of where it's like both him and Luffy are like kind of like similar in that they both shared like a dream to like reach something that seemed unattainable, but it's like Gaimon like finally doesn't have to worry about his dream of that now and has his treasure of the island of animals to protect, which kind of fits into like the whole idea of like personal treasure versus actual treasure from like Orange Town.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But any thoughts on that or
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I really liked the part where like Luffy gets up there and then just like refuses to give him the treasure, and everyone's like, "Why would you do that?" And then Gaimon realizes that it's been empty all of these years. There never was any treasure, or if
yeah,
there was, it
no,
was already
it's
taken.
mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's interesting in that like Nami and in the anime they had Usopp like don't believe Luffy immediately, but Zoro can like read Luffy. Like he
Yeah,
gets like a smirk and he's like he can tell like Luffy's doing this from a kind place and not like malicious like it
yeah, he's
seems.
not being a jerk and trying to steal his money.
Yeah. No. It's honestly a very nice little story. It doesn't have too much connections other than like one cover story at the moment, and people are curious if it's gonna come back around at all. But that's really all I can say about like the little chapter for Gaimon that is in like at the beginning of the arc technically in the manga, but after it in the anime.
Yeah. Wait, how does it?
Um,
Oh, so in the manga, Usopp's not there then. I'm guessing
yeah, basically, I think like they just kind of split some of Nami's lines in over to Usopp practically.
that makes
So
sense.
yeah,
I do love
like if
that.
I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I do like that Zoro just was not there from just took a nap for most of the action.
I mean, that's Zoro. He'll just wander off and show up when important things are happening.
Yep.
But anyways, getting into the actual arc now, just because I wanted to tackle on it because the Gaimon stuff is a very weird thing where it's at the beginning in the manga and at the end in the anime. Just might as well get it out of the way now.
Yeah.
So they show up to the Syrup Village Island, and Usopp is um is there basically after like doing his daily routine of saying that the pirates are coming, to actually then have pirates actually come, and so he's obviously trying to put up a front of like me and my 2 million men that I have, and obviously it's a lie, but because not only is he basically a play off like the boy who cried wolf and Pinocchio, two characters who have like lying mechanics built into them. His name Usopp Uso derives from the word to lie, so
That makes sense.
yeah, there are a lot of things that feed into Usopp that is about lying.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, but yeah, and basically Luffy and Zoro just show up, and like Usopp's threatening to like shoot them with his slingshot and whatnot. And Luffy pulls up basically the Shanks line of like, if you have like your weapon like ready to be fired, you better be prepared to like risk your life on it. Obviously, stealing the line from Shanks. Um, and Usopp gets freaked out by this, and then just like Luffy and Zoro can automatically like I think see through Usopp that like he's not like a bad guy. Um, and so basically like they just try and befriend him from that. Just based off of this, like what were your thoughts on like Usopp's introduction?
I think I liked it. What were my thoughts on Usopp's intro? I like the whole boy who cried wolf motif. Like you can kind of guess where the arc's gonna go once you get into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it like also like the way that like he basically phrases it, I believe is also like quite similar to how it's like said in like the fairy tale for the boy who cries wolf.
I think so.
Um yeah. Um and so after that, in the anime not in the anime, in the manga for some reason they just jump to the restaurant scene and whatnot, and like the stuff of
Interesting.
Luffy not like Luffy knowing of Yasop and bringing it up to Usopp isn't brought up till like a bit later in the arc, like around like the time where like Luffy and Usopp are on their own on the cliff, which I feel like it was kind of a weird time. I like it much better in how like in the anime where it's like because it like links up with Shanks and whatnot because like they're on the same crew and whatnot. So it's like basically building upon that like um basically being like, yeah, your name's Usopp, then you like I know of your name because your dad was on Shanks's crew all those years ago, and then basically goes into the restaurant scene where it mostly plays out the same, but then it has like the added addition of like the Yasop stuff that is mentioned towards the end of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, basically they go and do that. To which I find it very like nice that we get like a bit of an introduction to like Yasop as a character, even though like Usopp's never met him and whatnot. So like it and like we'll learn later that Usopp really wants to meet his father. But yeah, it's
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Just what
that
were your thoughts on
was
like
sad. Usopp's story is sad.
yeah we'll get to it towards the end. But what were your thoughts on just like the whole connection to like Shanks's like Usopp having a link to Shanks's crew indirectly through like his father as
You
well?
know I like Shanks, so I like any info we get on Shanks. I like.
Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts on like Yasop? Like I know not much is shown of him, just that like he likes to talk about Usopp quite a bit and that he's a good sharpshooter, which
I
clearly the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree for
yeah,
Usopp.
I like it, but then it makes me just does Yasop know his wife is dead and that Usopp's by himself?
It is a great question. Don't fully know. I just know, just one thing for sure is that Yasop is joked a lot for being like a deadbeat dad because like he's not there for his son at all.
Yeah, but like he
Um,
seems like an amazing dad. I honestly think he doesn't know.
Yeah, no, I do think more like most likely it is. It's just that Yasop doesn't show up for like so long, like hasn't shown up in so long. Like we haven't like pretty much this time in Zero Village is like I think the only time we see him. Um, and he hasn't been seen since, so like it's like hard to exactly gauge his character
Yeah,
based
that's
off of
fair.
just this one scene. Um, but yeah, it's at this point that Usopp's like, "Oh, I have a prior thing that I need to do," and goes off to Kaya's house to go tell him, not tell him, tell her about like his like great stories that he comes up with, which are obviously like fabricated lies, but there's still like great stories that Usopp comes up with to cheer up Kaya. Um, to which I guess I should also mention that I forgot to bring this up a little bit earlier, but the crew is looking for a ship to use because they're a bit tired of going around in just dinghies, and it's not exactly something that you can sail the Grand Line with. Um, but yeah, they so the crew see Usopp doing this, and it's a very nice thing that gets interrupted by Kulahador or Kuro, as I'm just gonna call him for the rest of this.
I hate him.
But yeah, just like on the thing of like Usopp with like Kaya and whatnot, and, like the stories that he tells her. What did you just kind of think of that part
I
before we
really
get
liked
into
that.
the normal?
I thought that was really sweet. I really liked it.
Yeah, no, it definitely like, and I'll get towards it like to it towards the end, but there's like a lot of like things that you can see like between Luffy and Usopp that bounce off of Kuro, and I'll like kind of get a bit more into it at the end, but yeah, so basically from there, Klahadore basically doesn't want. Oh, actually, before I mention this, I should mention that in the manga, it isn't shown how Usopp gets into Kaya's mansion at all, or well, and also that Kaya is on like the first floor. There isn't a second floor to the mansion. Um, so all that that block bush removing and like the tree thing is like entirely anime original, but I think it gives the mansion a little bit more charm.
Yeah, I liked it.
Um, regardless, getting back to like Kuro's thing of calling out Usopp basically is like just because he continually sneaks onto the property that like and he's a son of a pirate basically that like his reputation isn't too good, especially with all the lying and whatnot that he does. Um, but basically like Kuro takes it like basically is like trying to push Usopp and whatnot is like, yeah, get out of here, you know, your father is a pirate, you should be ashamed of that. But like we see that Usopp has a bit of pride in that and whatnot. Like he'll never dismiss his father for that sort of thing. And I don't know, it's like one of those things that's like one of those early character building moments that I really like about Usopp as a character.
Yeah, I can see that.
Um Yeah. So basically, after that, Usopp runs away to the cliff, and like Luffy kind of goes after him. Um, we get like Zoro and Nami and the kids getting like an encounter with Django, um, who is definitely not a reference to Michael Jackson in the slightest. Nope.
Absolutely not.
Actually, there's a fun fact about the Japanese voice actor for Django is that he voices two other like pretty significant characters later on. So
Oh yeah, who?
one of them's a minor villain. Another one will eventually go on to become a Straw Hat. So
Mm, interesting.
he's the most interesting thing is that he's actually I think the I forget if it was like first or second, but he was like one of the first actors that Oda actually met like before like the anime actually started and whatnot, and was like I want like he was like one of the like he actually wanted to give him like some like a role in like the show and whatnot.
Hmm.
Just like one of those fun facts. Regardless, like we kind of see Django's hypnotist abilities, which you know, I'm like I go into it deeper, but it's really just a setup for later.
Yeah, pretty much.
But basically we get the scene of now Luffy and Usopp at the cliff and whatnot, and like kind of just like how Usopp talks about how like he's always like basically gone to Kaya to like cheer her up and whatnot, and how like he can't stand like Kuro for trying to like get in the way of like what he thinks would make Kaya feel better. Especially considering she's quite sickly at this point. Um, and basically at this point, they happen to eavesdrop on like Kuro and Django and their plan to like to off Kaya and basically inherit all her wealth through like a, a big plan and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's it's this part that a lot of people feels like is pretty contrived. Like, how would like Usopp and Luffy just happen to be like at the
Oh
right point
no,
at that
that is
right time
it's
to give
very
it the mission plan?
contrived.
Yeah, it's honestly I think like one of the biggest detractors to this arc is like that part. It's
I
just
could see that. That is kind of annoying.
yeah, um, but I don't know. It's not like a make or break thing. I think it's just
No.
like one of those like things where you like, yeah, but you're trying to like lead up to Oda, but it felt a bit contrived to get there.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't think we deal at least with this kind of contrivance again. Um, there'll be some other contrivances that bring up a bit of the ire of readers, but we'll get to it when we get to it. Regardless, basically, it's at this point that basically since Usopp and Luffy overheard the plan, Django uses his hypnotism on Luffy, and he falls off the cliff, like incapacitating him for a little bit. To which Usopp tries to go around town in like a desperate like effort to try and save his town and Kaya because he cares very deeply about all of them. But since he's like the boy who cried wolf, no one believes him,
Yeah.
and basically it's like even like Kaya gets mad at him for like lying because like Usopp normally is a person who lies not to hurt people but like to help and just to kind of like try and bring joy in a way. Um at least when it came to like the town and Kaya and his like and like the kids who are like his like because he ran like a like kid pirate group type of thing. um and that was to, like give him that and like even he lies to them like yeah no that was just a joke, it was just because I was mad at Kuro and whatnot, but like deep down he's like I want to save the village so I'm going to like put myself on the line to do it, and like he's willing to do it on his own, but like the crew obviously can see like that he deeply cares about it and it's like that's why they want to help.
Yeah.
um And so basically, they try and set up a trap for them the next morning, but you know, there happen to be two slopes that are pretty similar on opposite sides of the island. So
Yeah. I mean, like, I get the joke they were going to. It just felt like they were felt made the group feel incompetent.
yeah, it was. I mean, it was under an assumption, which I can get, but it's like another one of those like kind of contrivances that I feel like it's like one of those things where it's like let's keep Luffy and Zoro out of the battle for a little bit,
I mean, but you kind of have
sort of
to,
thing.
cause like,
No, yeah, there is, but there's just the author goes about it in like a lot of
yeah, it could have
smarter
been done
ways
in a
later
better.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, no, it's like because Oda does like that with like purpose and whatnot. It's just like his explanation for like why they don't show up at certain points later on is I think better, and this is like probably like one of the arcs with like the weakest reasons as to why.
What was the girl's name again? The sick one.
Kaya.
Kaya. So her parents are dead, but wasn't it said that like her parents were killed by pirates?
No, her from my understanding, I believe her mom was already dead, and her dad had died of sickness like a year prior, which was totally like it was actually an accident, like that wasn't planned
All right.
by on Kuro's behalf.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if
Um,
Kuro had them killed so he could get in with Kaya.
no, no, that was like utterly coincidence. The whole plan of him like showing up weary 3 years ago and getting in, now that was on purpose.
Yeah.
but yeah, so basically, Nami and Usopp show up first. The two most human characters out of the cast, like out of the crew at the moment. Um, and so they're like, well, we gotta try and distract the pirates for a little while. And like it's after like distracting for a little while that Luffy and Zoro show up. Um, and that basically like Luffy is able to like through Django's under Django's hypnotism of making him stronger and like ruthless and whatnot. It's like basically able to like break through, like punch through the entire crowd of pirates, and then tries to rip off. I forget like what it's called, the ship, but it's like
The
basically where the
bow?
figurehead is. Is it the bow?
I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure,
I
but
I like trains more than I like boats.
yeah, I know knowing parts of the boat aren't like too necessary for the show, so I never really went out of my way to like learn all of them. But
That is
we'll just go
valid.
with that. Um, if you want, you can correct us in the comments if you
Do it.
get to this.
No, because I am genuinely curious and I would like to know.
Yeah. Um, and basically like practically tries to pull it down and uses like a weapon on all of them, but Django puts Luffy to sleep, and so basically now it's like just basically Django and the Nyanban brothers,
Oh,
and
right. Them.
basically yeah, and then Nyanban brothers are basically pitted up against Zoro to try and like break through and whatnot because they're like the most strongest fighters on the crew basically. Um, yeah, so basically Zoro goes like, but Zoro's put at a disadvantage immediately because Siam basically swats away two of his swords, so he's left only like fighting off the two of them with one sword. To which Kuro shows up in it like at this point, and basically it's just to basically give like the crew a threat because Kuro does not care for their lives in the slightest, as we'll see later. Um, but basically that what is it that from there that the Nyanban brothers are given 5 minutes to beat Zoro. To
Well,
which
no, at
Zoro
this point,
beats.
one of them was already down. It was just the big one, and.
No. They weren't both down yet. They were like Zoro was just about to get his three swords because Nami had like gotten over there and whatnot. Um, to which also like Zoro like in like that beginning bout of the fight had taken a shot from Usopp because like they like Nami and Usopp would have been in danger if Usopp had taken that shot. Um, but yeah, it's like basically after Kuro shows up that he gets his three swords.
Oh, that's right. I thought he had already taken down one of them by the time he
No,
gave the 5 minute
it's
warning.
like practically yeah, no, it's like practically right after the 5 minute warning, he takes down Siam, and then and technically Butch is taken down with it, but Butch like crawls up to Django to be like, give me the hypnotism to become stronger and whatnot. And that's what takes Zoro a little bit longer to get through him.
That's right.
He gets to pull out his cool move, the Tiger Hunt. Uh,
It is funny that he pulls out the tiger hunt while he's fighting the cat pirates.
it's on purpose, I'm pretty sure,
Oh, I
because
figured.
Oda likes Oda like not only does like Zoro like a lot of Zoro's moves like they're either like puns or they're meant to be like very well timed type things and whatnot. At least pre time skip. Post time skip has like a different set of like puns to his names and whatnot, or not like puns per se, but more of like references. Um, and I guess later in pre time skip too, but we'll get there when we get there.
So when's the
But
time skip happen?
it'll be a while. I'm not gonna specify when, just to keep it pretty spoiler free for you. But
I appreciate
it,
that.
it's a little while from now.
Cool.
Like we still got a good four other sagas to get through before we get there. um, but yeah. So basically after that, like Kaya shows up to like try and stop Kuro, because like she doesn't want any of the villagers to die either, and it's like feels very bad for like portraying Usopp like that. But it's like um she also kind of like at least at this beginning part like doesn't want to like really die herself. Um
Let's see. I think the last thing I heard was Kaya not wanting to die herself, if I remember correctly.
okay. Yeah, kind of didn't want to die herself, and basically Kuro, he's like, I don't want just your money. I want your like your entire estate and whatnot. It's like, I don't like the life of piracy. Um, like in fact, that eats it. Um, and like, while we don't get it here, I'm just gonna bring it up right now. That he um he basically basically back like 3 years ago, he came up with the plan to come up with um like basically let the Marines capture a body double of sorts and have him be taken in to be killed off as Kuro, so he'd be off the radar of the world, and then to have this plan to take over basically the island so that he can live without having to worry about being hunted down for the rest of his life.
So did he have Kaya? Did he already know about Kaya's family when he made this plan, or did he just get lucky?
I imagine he probably scouted out like a few islands like before he settled upon Kaya's estate. But I imagine it was with research that he went there.
All right.
But yeah, also a fun fact, the Marine who captures Crow is actually Captain Morgan.
Oh, that was the one from last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
the
he's
axe hand
the
one.
yeah, he was the Marine captain. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually how he ends up with like the metal jaw and whatnot. Because like they say, oh yeah, I'm surprised you can speak with that broken jaw of yours and whatnot.
They can't heal a broken jaw, so they just give him a really.
It's partially that, but it's also partially because he actually hates his butt chin.
Oh right.
Yeah. Um, and so from there, basically, like his plan played out to present day. At this point, Luffy kind of like is basically like, okay, I'm like going to take you on and not. Zoro understands this and whatnot because Django starts going after Kaya. Um, like basically takes Usopp with him to go try and get Django. To which the kids are protecting Kaya at this point. And basically just throughout this fight between Luffy and Zoro, like I'll touch upon this one first because the Usopp and Crow like parallels I want to save like for the end of this arc and whatnot. But basically like Crow has like no regard for his crew at all, and like finds every single one of them as disposable. Whereas like compared to like Luffy, who actually like even like he's very much a judge of character, like for his crew, and cares about every single one of them deeply. And that's why he thinks Usopp is better than Kuro because Usopp has that same sort of caring feeling about like the people around him.
Yeah.
Um, but basically the fight goes on. Like Luffy's able to break one of his like because he has like these like basically gloves with like five like katana blades on them. It's actually like a very interesting thing because like you can see it early on when like he pushes up his glasses with the palm of his hands because like he'd cut himself if he were to do it like normally. Um, it's like one of those small things that like I think is like pretty cool to see on a rewatch.
Yeah.
Um, regardless, basically after that, Crow basically does like an attack that's indiscriminate against who it attacks, which makes sense because he doesn't care about his crew. To which after Luffy's able to stop him from doing that attack, he hits him out with like with like the Gum Gum No Bell or the Gum Gum Bell attack, which is just basically a strong headbutt.
Yeah, I still think that
It's
probably should have killed Kuro because like he hit him really hard, and head drama is not something to be shy about.
yeah, well, when you're in a
Anime.
world where basically milk can, well, where the milk is strong enough to like heal bones in an instant, I'm not too worried.
What? I'm sorry, what? Milk can
Well,
heal bones?
we'll get to it later, but literally Luffy regains a tooth later on by just drinking milk.
Okay.
Don't underestimate the power of milk in the show.
No kidding.
um, but yeah, and at the same time, Usopp is able to save Kaya from Django by using an exploding like pellet that he had made. And with that, basically the day is saved. Um, and it's at this point that it like kind of goes into wrap up. Like the crew is able to get their ship, which is called the Going Merry, and it's based off of the like the attendant that Kaya had, whose name is also Mary. Um,
Who? Uh, why do I already forget the guy's name? That's how Kaya knew what was going on, by the way, because I think we forgot to mention that.
yeah, Mary was the one who spilled the plans because Kuro had
Kuro, that's his name.
broken Kaya's gift. Yeah, Crow had broken the gift that Kaya had planned to give him, and then slashed down Mary, um, to keep him quiet, basically. Um, Earlier on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it's like at this point, it's like Usopp disbands his little kid pirate group by basically telling the kids to follow what they dream to be, um, and that he's gonna go like live his dream of wanting to be like a pirate. Um, and we get like through like Kaya talking to Mary and whatnot, like because Usopp basically like had at this point like come down like and joined the like he was gonna set sail on his own, but like I just love that Luffyans were like, just get on,
Just
we're friends, aren't we? You know?
just get on already. What are you doing?
Yeah. No, it's but basically Usopp joins with them, and it's after that they had set sail that Mary tells Kaya that basically Usopp's lie of the pirates are coming was born from the fact that his mother, when she was sick, Usopp brought it up as a way to like try and make her feel better because like even though like as to say like their dad like his dad had come back, even though like he hadn't, it was a thing that like he wanted to try and keep seeing even after his mother passes due to like illness. um
Ah, yes.
and it
My favorite anime death. Generic illness.
yeah, and also like there's like the little touch of like early on in the aftermath where the town's like, where's Usopp crying
Alright, you back?
uh yeah.
You cut out at,
um
well, you cut out
what did
at,
you hear last?
the town asking where Usopp was.
Okay, with the town asking where Usopp was and basically saying that it's boring that his like that he wasn't coming through and whatnot because it made their days in a way better as well because they like even though they chased after him and whatnot, they enjoyed his antics.
Yeah.
um but it's like like through all of this that Kaya resolves to become a doctor, and the boys do Usopp's the pirates are coming in his place in order to keep the spirit of him alive in the city, or not the city,
Yeah.
the village. and that's pretty much where the arc ends. So before I get into like just the Usopp parallelism with Crow, what did you think of like the arc, like just like these moments and whatnot,
I really like
like the back half fight and the aftermath?
I really like the aftermath. I think it tied up the arc really nice.
Yeah, no, it's like like one of those really like nice things, and like it gives insight to Usopp and whatnot as like a character.
So I saw Kuro left with his crew, but what happened to Django? Because he just was left on the
I
island, but they decided not to tell anyone. So
Yeah, I forget exactly what happens to him. Um, he will come back up in one of the cover stories later on. But we'll get there when we get there with that one as well.
yeah,
But regardless, so getting into like Usopp versus Kuro, it's very nice. I think like the idea that like in this story that like Usopp uses his lies in a way that like is meant to like bring joy to other people and to help them out, whereas Kuro's lies were like meant were only meant for like deceit and just like to use people.
yeah,
And I don't know, it's just like I don't know like the right words, but like I just kind of like the idea of, like that those two like kind of parallel each other in like opposite ways of like what they're doing, and that it's like the way that Usopp is going about it, even though it makes him seem like less reputable, like as a person a little bit. It's like what he's able to bring to people and whatnot
yeah. That makes sense.
as a whole.
Yeah. I like the. Yeah, I don't think I could say it any better than what you did.
Yeah. Um, and so that pretty much covers it for the arc as a whole. But since we finally reached the point of where the SBSs start showing up in the volumes, I had Matt read over it and whatnot of the SBS, and like what do you think of like just the first SBS? Because we just read the one for Volume 4.
I like the how do you say? I like the world building it gives, and I like just I like how what's the author's name again?
The Butler,
No,
Kuro.
the author.
Oh, author, Ichiro Oda.
Yeah, I like how he's kind of cheeky, and I don't know, he's kind of not to say snarky, but he has fun with his answers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Yeah. There's at least like one that I think is like one question I think that helps like if like you didn't like quite understand like Luffy as a character by this point yet. There's like the question of how come Luffy never kills his enemies, and that it's like basically like Luffy doesn't care about like actually killing them. It's like killing their dreams and whatnot. Like that they have is like like what is seen to be a far worse death than actual death.
Actually, speaking of Luffy and understanding him as a character, one line that I thought I'd wanted to bring up was when Kuro was explaining his plan to Luffy. Luffy is like, you know, if you didn't want to make a name for yourself, don't be a pirate.
Yeah.
Like if you
No,
didn't
it's
want the life, then don't. If you don't want to be known, then don't be a pirate. Simple as that.
mhm. Yeah, no, it's yeah, I mean clearly like Luffy has like a very like high ideal of like what a pirate is meant to be and whatnot. But I do think it like him being like very much into like his dream and his ambitions, like such that he's willing to die for it, even for like the people that he cares about being his crew and whatnot. It's like he'd rather die for like his dream that he believes in than like for like such a petty reason of like I just want money to live this easy life.
Yeah.
But yeah. with that, I think that about wraps it up though for the Syrup Village arc. Well, we'll be back with the Baratier arc next sometime in the future. Can't exactly say when, but we'll see. Um, Other than that, though, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to do all the things, and yeah,
Bye.
bye.